Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, giving you a channel update. I went over to Napa Auto Parts this morning with Justin SVT. We had a great time. We always enjoy going to auto parts stores in the morning when it's quiet, and definitely going and enjoying it with the cars. It's fun to take a nice car that doesn't have a problem, and we were working on a power steering leak today, so I really enjoy spending time with him as my brother, and we understand each other really well. And as we were looking at my Cobra, when we were leaving the store, we were talking about how we could both imagine being in high school and walking up to a car just like this and thinking about how somebody would own it at a parts store, and we would think, well, they must know something about cars if they're working there, and you know, just had a good time kind of talking about that. But the Cobra looked great, the amber tail lights, the screaming yellow, everything about it was a very enjoyable morning, and so we really had a good time just driving around with it. So just enjoyed the beautiful morning and nice little drive, and this whole week has been a lot of car projects. My sister needed some work on her car. The front bumper had been smashed in and hanging, and so I was able to basically take it off and use my old bumper from my '01 GT, the spare one that I had, and kind of fix it up. So I made a video on that, just a rattle can job that didn't turn out too bad for what the car is. It's nothing professional, but anyway, it started off as my old white Mustang GT's bumper, and after several cans of this spray paint, it turned out okay. And this paint was basically mixed up at a paint store that you give them your paint code and some information, and they can make it look very similar to the factory paint. And so they mixed it up, put it in the spray paint cans, and it turned out pretty good for what it was. And so, of course, her car is going to need a whole new paint job at some point, and we have some spray paint left over. We may do the top section with the hood and the top of the fenders or something a little bit later, but as of now, at least it's not hanging anymore, and it looks somewhat decent, and so we're on the right track here. Still some work to do. So if you've ever done anything similar to that, let me know in the comments. This was the first time I've really repainted something like this, and just gave it a light sanding, and then you know, cleaned it up and then painted it. And so we'll see how it turns out in the sun. But the rest of the cars are doing well. Mach 1's here. Haven't really driven it too much, so probably need to get it out and going. Yukon's doing great. Great family car, cold air conditioning. And the Terminator, perfect as always. Very happy with it. And been driving the white GT around a lot. And I took my Mustang to a dentist appointment, and it was really funny because right across the street was where I initially bought this car 13 years ago, and so really enjoyed it there. But when I looked underneath it, I saw some coolant leaking out of it, and I was hoping it was from another car, but of course it wasn't. So I got home and it started hissing pretty bad. So, you know, just my luck, right? But I'm glad that both this car and my truck and my wife's Infiniti, they all did the same thing right when I got home, like they knew it. So perfect place for it to happen. And I just so happened to be holding a spare radiator from Justin SVT's Bullet that he had for a while. So it only had a little bit of time that it was even used before he switched it when he supercharged the car and did some other things. So I talked to him and we switched around some parts, and so I was able to throw that one in one day, the same day, and get it done. And I really want to give a shout out to Justin SVT because he also came right over and brought some extra coolant and everything that I would need to refill the radiator and burp the system, because I was pretty busy right there. So really grateful for that. Went in perfect, and no leaks, no problems. And so very happy that it was a quick fix. So on that radiator, by the way, it had the ports for the automatic transmission, and so as long as you don't have lines to put in there, you're good. So very happy with how it turned out, and made a good updated radiator video for the channel. And on my way home, I had picked up a oil filter adapter gasket, so I thought, you know, I'm already dirty. Let's just go ahead and get my sister's car back over here since it was leaking pretty bad. And I'm already dirty, so threw it up in the air, put the oil filter adapter gasket on, And so this job really isn't too bad, as you'll see in the install video that I did. It's just a little messy, but it is very straightforward. And as I was working on this, I thought about how I'm able to do all these things because it really took me some time when I was younger to figure it out. When I first owned this car 13 years ago, here it is. I mean, I'm up in my parents' airport hangar and trying to use whatever tools I could find, and didn't really have exactly the right tools for working on a Mustang, and figuring out intake manifold gaskets and things that were double gasketed. And you know, I was young and new to the car, so I was also living in an apartment, didn't have a garage, didn't have tools, so times definitely have changed a lot better, and hopefully my videos help everybody else out a little more. But then I took a minute to mow the lawn, which I enjoy doing. It relaxes me a little bit, and I feel like I accomplished something. So I was on a roll. What else could I fix in the week? And then we rolled the 98 Cobra on in so that we could work on its power steering leak. And so it was a high pressure line that came down. And again, this is something that I had fixed on my 01 white GT years ago, and so I knew what to do. It wasn't really that bad. But anyway, just really enjoyed the morning here with the Cobra, and Justin SVT had brought his 10th anniversary over for a few minutes, and we were just kind of hanging out. So as soon as he pulled out, I put the Cobra back in, and I'll show you here a little ritual that I have with it and what we do every time I'm done driving it. So after a spirited drive, I always put the hood back up when I'm done. And that's just because I don't have the insulation on the bottom side of the hood anymore. And, you know, it gets pretty warm. If you can't put your hand on it and keep it there, it's definitely hot. And the blower's not too bad. The rest of the engine is even hotter. So, in order to help preserve the paint, because, I mean, obviously the hood's down while you're driving, so it's going to get hot. But the best that you can to protect the bottom of the hood from excess heat, the better. So when I get home, I always pop it so it's not just sitting here baking for a few hours until it cools down. So anyway, that was how the week went. A few projects here and there, nothing too serious, and you know, just enjoyed making some more videos for everybody on the channel, and enjoyed the morning. So anyway, let me know what's going on with you guys. Put it in the comments, and hopefully you can enjoy your weekend as much as us. I decided to go out afterwards and eat with my wife, and I was very proud to see my Yukon there next to two minivans. And anyway, just had a nice big meal, and just ready to enjoy the rest of this weekend and get ready for the next week. So anyway, thanks for watching. Stay subscribed and like the videos. Thanks, guys.